So friends, today since morning we had some fantastic presentations, and I'm sure you all enjoyed the way I did. They were talking about steel as a major material of the next generation. And then we are talking about infrastructure projects, which is our government's portfolio now, the major target. And I just thought, I should talk about, what kind of project opportunities that we have. And we have steel bridges, roof plazas, railway stations, and I'm going to show you a lot of railway stations today. We have some interesting foot over bridges that are coming up, and airports, railway stations, and the logistics parks. What a great assorted platter, that you have. We started with working for this program called Gati Shakti, and thanks to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who has given me about 15 railway stations to design in and around Pune, and there are few more coming up. They want me to do a lot, but I don't know, there are some limitations on my side as well. So we are talking about Pragati ki Gati in Bharat ki Shakti, and we are talking about architects such as you all guys, architectural and structural engineers, who have got a lot of scope to convert the railway stations into better than airport spaces. And we can do that only with one single material, that is steel, maybe collaborated with concrete as a hybrid, as you call it, sir. So these are the railway stations that we are taking up right now. We have started with Chinchwad, Akurdi, Talegaon, Urli, Kanchan, Kedgaon, and Baramati. They are small ones, bigger ones are yet to come. But then today I thought this much platter is good enough for you. So Akurdi railway stations look like that, and this is what it is today. This is what it is today, built in British days, the Queen's days. And we still continued with that. And we wanted to change those things with these points that we really studied. No proper lighting, drop-off points. There is no provision for firefighting. No, this is something which is very, very important. Most of the times we find that a lot of structures are getting burnt, and so we need to provide for fire protection detection system. Utilization of space has become very, very critical, because now when we go for a redevelopment, basically we don't have space. We have to reuse the space and convert those spaces into beautiful spaces. So that is a challenge for you. This is a presentation of the Baramati line, where we are talking about the Akurdi railway station. Now what we are really trying to do is, what we are really trying to do is add on certain beauties in terms of the proper pedestrian movement. On the other side of the station also we are trying to develop it for the people who come down from there. Currently there is no such thing happening. So we are trying to add on those things so that the station really serves from both the ends with equal benefits. And then we are trying to actually build a roof plaza, which is a new concept that we are trying to introduce to most of the railway stations in India. Because we are supposed to be working for Chhapra railway station, which is for Lalu Yadav's area. And we are doing some 4 railway stations in Nagpur as well. So this is something which is kind of a redevelopment and alignment of services and the public spaces that we want, and public wants something new, something different. We are trying to build something which will stay long for more than 40 years. And this is a brief of the Akurdi railway station. You have seen how bad it is, how dirty it is, and how beautiful it's going to be. The work is already started. That is the overall view. You will see what we are adding. We are streamlining the parking. We are providing a beautiful foot over bridge. We have general waiting area, executive. No, it's okay. We have executive waiting area, ticket booking area, and some of the pictures on the other side of the view. And what is more important, I think, is the interiors. And you see the interiors, the lovely interiors that we are thinking about with all the sustainable materials. Nothing else than the pre-engineered buildings to start with, because there cannot be any structure that can be built without a steel today. So we have ACP fascia, solar panels, so that we have a lot of energy around, which is available for us. Turbo ventilator, so that good ventilation system is maintained. And of course, the advantages are being very, very cost effective as well as time effective and within the budget of the Gati Shakti or the Amrit Bharat. That's going to be Baramati. I think you know Baramati is a very special place today, being talked about on TVs every day, and this is how we are going to change. What is there in Baramati today is this. You see what Baramati today is. And when I showed this to the leaders of Maharashtra, how we are going to transform this into a beautiful place. They wanted a colonial style of architecture, which we are trying to give them. And we are trying to give them with some better materials, as well as plans being planned in a very streamlined manner. So these are going to be some of the views of the entire station. We are adding that horizontal belt which is required for the public movement, which will be an additional movement coming up with the new railway tracks being executed there, and there's going to be expected a lot of traffic out there. So we are trying to change, keeping the main building the same and adding on certain structures, all in steel and decorated with the different modern materials. That's a close view. So we are using conventional steel structure here and not a PEB. Basically because we have certain constraints as far as that is there. All the moldings will be done in the glass reinforcement concrete. There will be brick cladding. Combination of old and new structure is done. So we call it as a fusion in architecture. And engraved mural design will be there to actually most of these stations where we have inner walls, inner spaces, we are trying to provide the history of that particular place. It will be done either in murals or in paintings, so that every time people visit the place, you don't have to ask what it is about. So they will depict the historical part of it, maybe in the form of paintings or maybe in the form of digital presentation. That is one of the beautiful stations that we are doing, that is at Talegaon. And you will wonder how it is, whether it is going to be a railway station in India. So, you know, this is what it is today. This is what it is today. And we have all those typical platforms, typical roof structures, a mess of public movement, and so many things. And the foot over bridge, you know, all designed in those British days and still being continued. So we want to change that. We are trying to streamline that. As you can see, we have a lot of constraints about the space, but within the space, we are trying to value it out. And the design philosophy is to show the movement of the building and make it more user-friendly by using organic and free-flowing forms. So just, you know, some ideas which I had actually thrown open to the ministry, and of course they could not digest so much of it. So I had to actually squeeze it down to something that probably happens in this way. With the pre-engineered technology, of course the fascia will be ACP, there will be solar panels for creating, getting that energy which I require for lighting, polycarbonate and turbo combo units and standing seam roofing. And as I said, the advantages would be cost effectiveness, time saving offer, versatile, and architectural options which we gave. I think we gave about 3 to 4 options for each railway stations to the authorities, and they selected it based on aesthetical values, based on the usability, based on probably the budget. So that's how it is going to look like. We have a drop-off point, very interesting one, with a canopy, cantilevered canopy, and thanks to Mr. Reddy who showed me that we can have 10-meter long canopy. So I think I can extend that a little bit. So that is entrance porch, and then we have a beautiful pergola that connects. And whatever you see, that is actually a foot-over bridge getting extended into a roof plaza. So we have a roof plaza that is very, very interesting, and existing FOB is also superimposed with this so that it merges with my architectural style. These are some of the interiors, and we will be definitely providing escalators for the masses, because Talegaon is a very important railway station. It's a kind of halt between the long route trains. So we are going to provide them a beautiful ticket booking counters. We will have false ceilings across to hide the entire roof structure that is there. And we are trying to use the arches and everything. And those walls, as I said, will depict the historical history of Talegaon. You know, there have been freedom fighters those days, and they will be all painted there with their history. So that's going to be another railway station in Pune, which is coming up. And our Prime Minister, in fact, did the Bhumi Pujan very recently of that, which I showed you in my first slide. So he's very much thrilled with this kind of railway station. The idea is to provide the brick, because Pune is, you know, just like Ahmedabad, people have very fascination about the bricks. So we use the brick and brick tiles, and then we have glass and of course the cladding materials. We are trying to connect the old booking office with this, with a very beautiful pergola roof, as you can see that. This is what the existing Chinchwad station is, you know, and you will be amazed, you know, how we converted this into such a beautiful thing that we are talking about. So toilets, you know, are not placed really. There is no provision of firefighting, as I said, drop-off point, messed up, no utilization of spaces. So we are trying to use this, and again, this will be on both the sides of the track. So that's a plan where we have a streamlined parking space, and that's an old building that you see here, which we are trying to link up with the pergola. And you know, we are trying to facelift this building, and we are trying to add on this beautifully planned place. So this work is already started. Some of the ideas which are floated upstairs, which I'm showing, I think they could not digest this idea, so we tried to bring it down to this. And we are working on that now. Again, pre-engineered buildings, standing seam, powder coated metallic fins, things like that, everything to do with steel, and of course some other metals like the galvalume and the aluminum and all that. So is another view. That's the pergola that we are talking about. It will be in steel, and then it will be protected by the coverings. Some of the beautiful interiors of the station, where people can really enjoy their time while they are within the station. So the drop-off, the self-ventilated facade which we are trying to introduce, and of course the facade will give a lot of impact. And we have a lot of long span over here. You must have seen in my first slides. So the long span, of course, only the steel can take with the hybrid stuff. We are also doing some of the airports which I talked about, you know, because we talked about the infrastructure development. Now we are doing a project in Madhya Pradesh, which is called as a place called Rewa, and this is just a pilot building that we have started with. Suddenly they have changed the location of the airport, so the airport is likely to come on the other side of the track runway. So this is the work under progress. And that's a little informative sheet for you, where we have got the, you know, the service areas on one side and the main terminal building there. It's a small airport at the moment, and they are planning for a larger one, which is under design stage. Now we go to Bangalore, where we are trying to, you know, come out with another infrastructure activity, which is the logistic park or the warehousing park. 50 acres of land and long span structures, as you can see there, the long span warehousing structures, and it's less of architecture and more of engineering. Let me tell you that. And what all depends on is the basic plan. So these are the kind of structures that we are trying to build in, and a centralized place, office building is there. We have planned for a proper traffic movement across the 50 acres of land. And as in the morning presentation, he was talking about the profile of the land which goes this way. And in India, over 50 acres is bound to be that. But we are trying to take the advantage of the land profile and try to design the structures accordingly. So that is the challenge with this. We are doing it for KC International. The area, as you can see, it's 11,000 to 20,000 square meters, with, of course, the mezzanine office spaces. And that's some of the views that we have done about it. So my dear friends, I think there is a big platter of activities that are available now. If we are trying to bring in, in the morning I was talking in the outside area where, people were really fascinated by these ideas that, I don't like this word called shade. These are not shades. These are aesthetically pleasant buildings designed with the modern technology of steel. So you try to bring in steel in such a way that it can be architecturally, treated to make them look really beautiful, and people will enjoy spaces to work in. They will be very well ventilated, they will be sustainable structures, and they will be fireproof structures. So my dear friends, that's the opportunity for all of you. Let's witness the great historic happening, which we are going to actually witness it in the next 10 to 15 years to come. Thanks to MX Business Media for inviting me here, and I'm sure, they gave me a very tough time of post-lunch. So I'm sure we all have enjoyed. Yes or no? Yes. Thank you.